of how the Fairbanks operation started? Fairbanks Smokejumper operation.
Not really. For years, it was kind of a Missoula sub-base.
I see.
I think during the early 60s. No, I could be wrong. Before, when we went out to Wainwright, the Missoula guys had it. I think that's why we didn't like it, because they kind of figured, well, you got to, this is a Missoula base. 3.5 mile, which is a state fire station area. Everybody's call 3.5 mile because it's 3.5 miles going toward the airport. That's where they were for a while. They had a really nice barracks there. Now, when I came up there in '84, I was at 3.5 mile for about 2 days. They had a kind of nice barracks. They had an office. They had a training area before we went up to Wainwright because they wanted to get close to the field. 3.5 mile was totally away from Wainwright, totally away from Fairbanks Terminal, and they wanted to be right there. But for a while, every day they go from 3.5 mile drive down the road. Now this has gotten a few years down to Anchorage to Fairbanks, and that little hut there on Wainwright, right next to the airport, and maybe it's standby there. Now back in those days, they had a unit in Anchorage, the Jumpers, and a unit in Fairbanks.
And they were BLM or Forest Service?
And they were BLM.
Okay.
And the base at Anchorage was a really nice place. It closed down before you even got there, but had a real good place in Anchorage. But Anchorage is kind of out of the territory. They have fires down there, but Fairbanks is centralized. It's a good place for jumpers right there in the center of the state. So they closed down that base. I was down there a few times. They standby in Anchorage. Had a really nice field there and a really good loft. And it was in the early 70s. And then everything moved up to Wainwright. And we had a T-hanger was there for us, World War II T-hanger where they stored P-39s, basically. The Russians loved P-39s, Cobras, because they had a gun in the front of their nose, a cannon, and they were good tank busters anyway.
And they'd come over there?
They'd had a bunch of Russian pilots that come to Fairbanks and pick up the planes, flying back to Russia.
Now, did you ever hear any stories about jumpers being trained to jump to rescue pilots flying up from Great Falls? Or anything like that? EMTs?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What did you know about
Sam
that?
Houston, we could call him Sam Houston.
Yeah.
We had an EMT, he was a nurse, and he built this big, real big, really nice, had a bunch of, in fact we made a bunch of red bags full of medical supplies, and they actually trained, 1 year he trained a physician to jump on fire just in case that happened.
And this was way back?
This was 70, early 70s, mid 70s.
Okay.
Nothing really happened. We never had a plane crash. We never had I don't think the jumpers have ever had a plane crash yet. No, I haven't heard of one. But that kind of petered out.
But you didn't hear of
Bill
anything?
Harrow ran it when Sam Houston took off. He went down to be a nurse in California. And Bill Harrow was there running the EMTs. Really nice little room they had.
So you had some trained EMTs on the crew up there?
Well, they were jumpers who happened to be EMTs. Some of the guys, when they left jumping, they went out in the fire station back in Lower 48. So some of them did.
But did you, about back in the World War II, you know, when you were just a kid, when they were flying planes up for the Russians,
Yeah.
Were jumpers trained, say, out of Missoula to cover that?
Not in World War. I don't think they.
Yeah.
World War II, they really didn't care. And
Yeah.
jumpers, you know, they were conscientious objectors for the most part, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's probably some stories about that. I guess if you hear some of the, you have to talk to, as far as I'm concerned, the Alaska historian is Murray Taylor. He knows
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, I thought
Yeah.
you might know.
If you ever go to Upper California, see him. But as far, I'm sure there's planes crashed probably all over. Alaska's, Canada, I got planes crashing all the time in World War II. But the jumpers really got out of it. Now Don Bell, his first jump down south, and that's in Murray Taylor's book. In fact, was it Fire in the Mountain? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
His first fire was, he jumped a aircraft fire. It's in the book. The fire boss told Don Bell, we're missing the head of the pilot. Go down the hill and see if you can find his head.
Jeez.
That's the last thing you want to hear in your first fire. Now this is in the book.
Yeah.
Murray Taylor's book. Now that over the years they may have jumped a fire or tried to find out what happened to a plane, and I'm sure they did that. If they didn't, it's amazing that why not do it. But now the whole state is covered with helicopters, and the military and the helicopters are like this, so they probably don't want to mess with the jumpers.
Well, what did you do? You finished your last summer with
85.
It was 85. So what did you do after 85?
Well, I was getting